Our next guest is a veteran of aviation safety reviews. Let's bring in Billy Nolen, who has served as acting FAA administrator, also as the FAA's Associate Administrator of Aviation Safety, former American Airlines pilot. He is now Chief Safety Officer for Archer Aviation, and it's good to see you, sir. And I don't want to be, I'm not being flippant about it, but when you heard that this was a plane that would not fly to Hawaii but would fly domestically, doesn't that raise some flags? Does that happen very often, Billy?
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but good morning and thanks, Joe. Typically, so going to Hawaii, you're on what's called extended twin engine, extended over-water operation, that's ETOPS, right? So there are some additional requirements for airplanes that fly long haul over the ocean, be it to Hawaii, be it to Europe or Asia. So there are checks in place. What I would say about this particular one, right, is as we allow we're 4 days into the investigation now, so we're going to continue to the FAA, the NTSB, Alaska will continue to work through this, and we'll ultimately get to the bottom line or the proximate cause of what happened. Was it, for all intent and purposes, it sounds like something with the door itself, but that's what we'll see when we get to the analysis phase. We're still in that fact-finding phase, and I know there's this hunger for immediate answers, but this is one where we just let that process work itself out.
It's a great plane. I have no doubts, Billy, but the things are sort of adding up. But then again, flying is incredibly safe at this point, and these are state of the art. And Boeing is like a great manufacturer, along with Airbus. But should we be surprised when things like this happen, Billy?
Well, today, as safe as we become, it's an opportunity for us to be surprised, right? You look out there, and you said it, and Becky said it, and Phil has said it, right? We fly every day, 45,000 commercial flights a day. All of them go off without a hitch, right? Sort of looking at a whiteboard in front of you, and you see one black dot. You're drawn to that, right? The overarching, you say the system is pretty safe, pretty resilient. That doesn't mean that we can ever rest on our laurels or rest on our safety record. So it is right for us to go and do a very thorough analysis of what happened in this incident and make sure we've gotten to the bottom line. This is, specific and unique to this, subset of aircraft.
Billy, from an analysis perspective, from a governance perspective, you look at the board of Boeing, look at the management, look at David Calhoun, probably heard our earlier guest saying he should go. If you were on the board of this company, would you want to be on the board of this company? And how would you grade what's going on at this company right now?
Well, here's what I say. Boeing has had an incredible history in terms of, the kind of aircraft it produces, and overwhelmingly, they fly every day and complete the mission around the world without fail, right? It is always an opportunity for us when we have an event, and we have so few of them these days. So when they happen, certainly they're magnified in the public's mind, right? So it is the right moment for Boeing to take a deep dive and say, what are we seeing? Is there anything that we're missing, especially when it comes to quality, the controls that we have in place, the controls we're expected to have in place? So those are the kind of questions I'm sure that David and the team are asking themselves, and certainly the questions that the board would ask as well. Let's just make sure that we're leaving no stone unturned.
But then Billy, unfair to say that there have been issues under David Calhoun's leadership that should be questioned? Is it too far to say, he was brought in to right the ship? I mean, I'm probably using the wrong analogy there, to right the plane. And there have been what seems like persistent problems. Maybe they're not obviously as bad as some of the problems earlier. How do you consider that?
Well, having myself been a chief safety officer and at an eVTOL company, but in a very large airline during my time at American Airlines, you've got a large operation. You've got lots of folks, right? And leadership certainly starts with the top and it permeates throughout the organization. I believe Boeing has got a good organization. They're a well-run company. But still, that doesn't mean that you rest again on your laurels. You certainly can't rest on your record. And so it will be good for us to allow the NTSB to get through their process, which Boeing is a part of, which Alaska is a part of, which other stakeholders are part of that investigation that's ongoing as we speak. And once we get to the bottom of that, they'll give us a better idea. I said, we know what should have happened. We don't expect that you've got a door that blows out at 16,000 feet or at any altitude, right? So let's go back and run that to ground and see, is there, are there things that need fixing? The answer to that may be yes, but I'd want to wait till we've got, more information that we have at this point in time.
We've also just heard anecdotally about an increase in things that aren't happening, thank God, but are close to it having happened. AI is frequently mentioned. It's going to really help in terms of air traffic control and everything else. Where's the FAA right now in terms of state of the art for 2024?
Yeah, apologize. So where the FAA is, certainly it's going to be helpful now that Congress is back for the FAA to have a full, complete, 5-year reauthorization, so that it has got not only that consistent funding stream that it needs to continue its own modernization path. You look at the airlines, the aviation sector, we're operating ultra-modern airplanes in an ultra-modern environment with more and more entrants coming into that environment. So making sure the FAA can stay on track with that, I think, is critically important for Congress. I will say that the FAA is in very good hands with Administrator Mike Whitaker. So him and his team is right to go look. The question I used to ask myself when I sat in the seat every day is, how safe do I think we are in the NAS? How safe are the American public? And is there anything that we as an agency should be doing to continually ensure and reinforce that level of safety for the flying public? I know, the FAA, having worked with all of those leaders, that they are doing that day in and day out without fail. Safety is indeed their North Star. But, every one of these isolated incidents is an opportunity for the agency, for the industry, for all of us to sort of take a step back and say, let's make sure that, quality is first, and safety is paramount. Quality is there equally so, right? That we're doing all of those things.